The diagram above shows the production possibilities curve for an economy that produces only consumption and capital goods. All of the following statements about this economy are true except. So in this question, we're given the production possibilities curve for this economy, which produces capital goods and consumer goods, and we're asked to identify the statement that is false. So looking at this production possibilities curve, we can see that the x-axis represents the consumption goods and y-axis represents capital goods. And there are 4 points labeled W, X, Y, and Z. The points W and X lie along the curve, meaning that they're the most efficient production points. Point Y lies outside of the curve, meaning that it is an unattainable point given the scarcity of the resources. And point Z is producing within the curve, meaning that it uses less than the maximum or amount of resources. So, given this, let's look at the answer choices. A. Producing at point Z results in the underutilization of resources. This is correct because point Z is below or within the curve, meaning that the most efficient use of resources is along this curve. Any point within it is not efficient or not using all the resources available, and because point Z is within this curve, then it is not using all of the resources. So A is true, so we can eliminate A. B. The combination represented by point Y is unattainable given the scarcity of resources. This is also true because point Y lies outside of the curve, and any point outside of the curve is not attainable because the points along the curve are the only points that can be produced given the resources available. So point Y, as it lies outside, is not attainable. So B is also true, so we can eliminate B. C. Resources are fully utilized at points W and X. This is true because any point that lies along the curve, or this curve right here, is using the resources most efficiently. So the points X and W, which lie along the curve, are also using points the most using the resources most completely. So C is also true, so we can eliminate C. D. Producing at point X will result in greater economic growth than will producing at point W. This is true because producing at point X means that more capital goods are produced than if you were to produce at point W. And because capital goods lead to greater long-run growth, producing at point X means that there will be more economic growth than producing at point W. So because this is true, D is also we can also eliminate D. Point X represents the most efficient combination of the two goods that can be produced by this economy. This is incorrect because any point along this curve represents production of resources or goods at the most efficient level. So point X is not the only point that represents the most efficient production of goods. X and W represent those points. So because E highlights that X is the only point that is the most efficient use of goods, E is incorrect. So the correct answer is E.